In the quiet passage of time, we are reminded that even the brightest stars must one day fade. Today, we mourn the loss of four remarkable figures whose gifts shaped music, art, media, and culture across generations. From the choreography that moved millions, to the songs that gave voice to our deepest emotions, to the art that expanded our imagination, and the news that guided our trust, each left a mark that will echo far beyond their final day. As we reflect on their lives, we honor not only their accomplishments, but also the humanity that inspired them. These are the stories of Diane Martel, Brett James Cornelius, Agnes Gund, and Roger Clemson. Their legacies endure, even as the world grieves their passing. The news came quietly on September 18, 2025. Diane Martel, the acclaimed American music video director and choreographer, passed away at the age of 63. For decades, she brought rhythm to vision and gave music its cinematic stage. Today, the industry mourns a woman who turned songs into unforgettable stories. Diane Martel was born on May 7, 1962. From a young age, she was drawn to movement, to performance, and to the art of translating sound into image. Her career began in choreography, where she worked behind the scenes to shape the flow of performances. But it was in music video direction where she found her lasting voice. She directed for Beyoncé, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, Ciara, Sting, and Jennifer Lopez. Each collaboration carried her signature style: bold visuals, intricate movement, and an instinct for storytelling that matched the artist's spirit. One of her most recognized works came in 2013 with Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines. The video became a cultural flashpoint, sparking conversations about artistry, controversy, and the power of visuals in shaping pop music. Her work extended far beyond one moment. Diane understood the deep connection between music and visual memory. She had the rare ability to make a song not only heard but also seen, in colors, in characters, in motion. For many fans, their first memories of certain songs remain tied to the images she crafted. In tributes shared after her passing, artists and colleagues reflected on her creative energy. One former collaborator wrote on social media, "Diane made every project feel alive. She didn't just direct videos, she created worlds." Another tribute read, "The music industry has lost a visionary. She believed in artists when we doubted ourselves. She pushed us to be fearless." Her sudden passing left many stunned. Yet, even in grief, people turned to her work, rewatching videos, rediscovering choreography, and remembering the moments when her direction helped define entire decades of pop culture. Martel's career was not only about stars and headlines. She also mentored young creatives, opening doors for women in an industry often dominated by men. She encouraged them to pursue bold visions and to take risks with art. Her influence rippled quietly, shaping future directors who now carry her lessons into their own work. Family, friends, and fans continue to share memories of her humor, her dedication, and her unstoppable energy on set. One longtime colleague described her as tireless, demanding in the best way, and deeply passionate about making art that lasts. As we look back on her life, Diane Martel's legacy is clear. She gave voice to music in ways that words alone could not. She taught us that movement tells stories, that images carry emotion, and that a single video can define an era. Her work lives on through the countless artists she collaborated with, through the young directors she inspired, and through the millions of fans who continue to watch her videos. Diane Martel will be remembered not just as a director, but as a visionary who gave music a visual heartbeat. She leaves behind a body of work that will outlast time, a reminder that art, when made with passion, continues to speak long after the artist has gone. Farewell to Diane Martel. Her vision behind the music will remain forever in memory, forever on screen, and forever in the rhythm of the songs she helped the world to see. The country music world was shaken on September 18, 2025. News broke that songwriter and producer Brett James Cornelius, his wife Melody, and her daughter Meryl Maxwell Wilson had all died in a plane crash in North Carolina. The tragedy silenced a voice behind some of the most enduring country anthems of the last 3 decades. Brett James was born on June 5, 1968. From the start, music was more than a dream to him. It was a calling that carried him from Oklahoma to Nashville, where he began chasing songs that would one day reach millions. In 1995, he signed with Career Records, a division of Arista Nashville. That same year, he released a self-titled album and saw 3 singles make it onto the charts. Though his early career as a solo artist had bright moments, it was his songwriting that would bring him lasting recognition. By the early 2000s, Brett had become one of Nashville's most trusted voices behind the scenes. His pen shaped the sound of an era, writing for Jessica Andrews, Martina McBride, Kenny Chesney, Rodney Atkins, Jason Aldean, and so many more. Among his greatest achievements was Carrie Underwood's 2006 hit Jesus, Take the Wheel. The song topped charts and went on to win Grammy Awards for Best Country Song and Best Female Country Vocal Performance. More importantly, it became a spiritual anthem for countless listeners, a song that people turned to in both joy and sorrow. Over the years, Brett's name appeared on nearly 500 recordings. Each one reflected his gift for melody, his respect for storytelling, and his deep connection to the heart of country music. Fans may not have always known his face, but they knew his words. His songs carried the emotions of ordinary lives, turning everyday stories into timeless music. Tributes quickly poured in after the crash. Fellow songwriter Hillary Lindsey wrote, "Brett was a friend and mentor. He showed me what it meant to write with heart. I can't believe he's gone." Another tribute from Jason Aldean read, "He gave me songs that became part of my life. I'll carry his memory every time I step on stage." Those who worked with Brett often spoke of his generosity. He was known not just for talent, but for his kindness. Young writers recalled how he took time to guide them, offering advice in a business that could be cold and competitive. He believed that music was bigger than charts, that it was about connection, healing, and honesty. Away from the studio, Brett was devoted to family. Friends describe his love for Melody and Meryl as constant and proud. The fact that they were together in their final moments has been described as both heartbreaking and strangely fitting, a family bound together in life, and now in memory. In Nashville, a candlelight vigil was held just hours after the news broke. Dozens of artists and fans gathered to sing the songs he wrote, filling the night air with the very melodies he gave them. As one fan shared through tears, his words saved me once. "Tonight we sing them back for him. The loss is immense. Yet Brett James Cornelius's legacy cannot be measured only in records or awards. His true legacy lives in the quiet moments when someone turns on the radio and finds comfort in his lyrics. It lives in the thousands of voices singing his words at concerts, weddings, and funerals. He will be remembered as a songwriter of the Heartland, a man who gave voice to the dreams, struggles, and faith of millions. His passing leaves a silence in country music, but his songs will continue to speak long after. Farewell to Brett James Cornelius. His melodies will live on, carrying the spirit of a songwriter who gave everything he had to the music he loved. The art world awoke to sad news on September 18, 2025. Agnes Gund, philanthropist, collector, and longtime supporter of education and justice, passed away at the age of 87. Her death marks the loss of a woman whose life was dedicated to the belief that art could change lives and strengthen society. Agnes Gund, known to many simply as Aggie, was born on August 13, 1938. She grew up with a love for creativity and a respect for education. Over the decades, she became one of the most important figures in American art, not only for what she collected, but for how she used her influence. She served as president emerita of the Museum of Modern Art in New York, as well as life trustee and chairman of its International Council. Her leadership helped MoMA expand into new generations, bringing forward both classic and contemporary voices in the art world. In 1977, faced with severe budget cuts to arts education in New York City, Gund founded Studio in a School. The nonprofit connected professional artists with public schools and community centers. The idea was simple but powerful: to give children direct access to working artists, and in doing so, give them a sense of possibility and imagination. That program has since reached tens of thousands of young people. She was also deeply committed to social justice. In 2017, Gund sold a prized Roy Lichtenstein painting, Masterpiece, for $165 million. She then used much of the proceeds to launch the Art for Justice Fund, a bold initiative to fight mass incarceration in the United States. The decision was both generous and symbolic, showing how art could be turned into direct action for change. Tributes after her passing spoke to her vision and kindness. Former MoMA director Glenn Lowry said, "Aggie believed art was a necessity, not a luxury. She opened doors for artists and students alike." A family statement shared, "Her generosity was boundless, her spirit gentle, and her belief in people unshakable." Friends often described her as modest despite her influence. She lived with quiet determination, giving her energy to causes larger than herself. For her, collecting was never about status. It was about supporting artists, amplifying their voices, and ensuring art remained accessible to everyone. Over the years, Gun's efforts were honored with countless awards, including the National Medal of Arts, presented by President Bill Clinton in 1997. But she never sought recognition. For her, the reward was always in the lives touched and the futures improved. Stories of her generosity continue to surface. One artist recalled how Gun purchased a painting at an early show and later used her connections to help the young painter gain a wider audience. A teacher in New York remembered how studio in a school gave her students confidence and hope. These are quiet legacies that statistics can never measure. Her passing leaves a void in museums, classrooms, and communities across the country. Yet her life's work ensures that her spirit remains alive. Programs she created continue to serve children. Artists she supported continue to share their voices. And reforms she helped fund continue to change conversations about justice. Agnes Gund will be remembered as more than a patron. She will be remembered as someone who saw art not only on walls but in lives, as a force to heal, to educate, and to bring people together. Her legacy is now part of America's cultural fabric. Every museum visitor, every child handed a paintbrush, and every artist given a platform carries forward her vision. Farewell to Agnes Gund. A champion of art, a champion of people, and a quiet force for justice. Her life will continue to inspire for generations to come. The news came on September 17, 2025. Roger Clemson, one of Australia's most respected broadcasters, passed away at the age of 93. For decades, his voice and presence brought a sense of trust into living rooms across the nation. His passing closes the chapter on a remarkable career in media and faith. Roger Clemson was born in England in October 1931. He began his career in theater and radio before moving into television, where his warm manner and steady delivery quickly made him a familiar face. By the 1960s, he had become one of the most recognizable presenters in Australia. Audiences trusted him not only with news but with stories of human connection. He hosted the Australian edition of This Is Your Life, guiding guests and viewers through moments of joy and reflection. Later, he fronted the true crime program Australia's Most Wanted, balancing suspense with compassion for victims and families. As a newsreader, he became the anchor millions turned to during uncertain times. His work with the 9 Network and later the 7 Network made him a household name. Night after night, his calm delivery reassured viewers that they were in safe hands. Colleagues often described him as a professional who carried dignity both on and off screen. One former co-anchor shared, "Roger had a gift. He didn't just read the news, he connected with people. We all felt it." Another tribute from a viewer read, "He was the voice I grew up with. In our home, Roger Clemson meant honesty." Beyond journalism, Roger found a new path later in life. He became involved in Christian broadcasting, lending his skills to faith-based programming. For him, it was another way to reach people with messages of hope and reassurance. His faith was quiet but strong, and it shaped the final years of his public service. Family and friends remember him as humble, gentle, and deeply caring. Despite fame, he valued personal connection more than recognition. Those who knew him best often spoke about his kindness and the respect he showed to everyone he worked with. Over his long career, Roger Clemson received honors including the Medal of the Order of Australia. Yet even with awards, he remained grounded, focused more on the responsibility of journalism than the spotlight it brought. His passing leaves behind memories of a time when television news was deeply personal, when audiences felt that the person on the screen was speaking directly to them. For Australians, Roger Clemson was more than a broadcaster. He was a steady guide through changing decades. Though he is gone, his influence remains in the generations of journalists who followed his example. His career reminds us of the importance of trust, care, and humanity in media. Farewell to Roger Clemson, a voice of calm, a man of faith, and a broadcaster who earned the trust of millions. His legacy will continue to echo in the history of Australian television and in the memories of those he touched.